Welcome, sir. We look forward for your wonderful talk.
My fellow speakers and learned delegates. I'm going to talk about two inventions that probably hold the potential to transform the world. And it is happening. It is based on an empirical case study which is in practice. So you will have to see it to kind of, believe it. But before that, I'd just like to mention that a former British Prime Minister of eminence, one Mr. Benjamin Disraeli, had famously said that before you do anything, know what has been done in that regard. So today when we are talking about corporate social responsibility in global context, and speakers of eminence have aired their views, we would like to take a sense of it, that what has been done in this civilization in context of corporate social responsibility. And only 4 words have come out properly today. 4 words. The entire first half, if we look at, we have 4 words. That is motivation, hope, compassion, and leadership. Now these 4 words are foundation of civilization, the basic ingredients of this soil, and today they have emerged as necessities of the day. It's a need of the hour kind of reflection that we have got. And if we try to summarize them and also add the ice on a cake, the presentation by Mr. Gagan Mishra, then we would say that the words that are basic of the civilization have come up as necessities. What it is? What is that? I have been all the time in the knowledge industry, having worked for and with some of the best in the world, including Tata and McGraw-Hill, who are known to be the knowledge players, the wisdom players, who are supposed to be rating the governments and the corporates and the markets and indexes and whatnot. So based on my own insight, I would say we are giving AAA rating to our civilization today. And that AAA is anxiety, anger, and agony, which was culminated in the performance that we saw last. And I don't think there is any disagreement on that. We are on a AAA rating. Now, how do we go about it? This has been done, but what is the attribute? Globalization is the latest word, doing rounds in last about 2 or 3 decades. In this world. But with this AAA rating, it is very fair and easy to conclude that we have been on a flip side of the globalization. Globalization has been on a destructive side to begin with. And as good sense prevails, it is moving to perhaps constructive side. Towards this, an effort has been made to kind of depict a leadership process, a humble leadership process happening in India in form of our Prime Minister, present Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, who I've been observing and interacting for last about 35 years. So it has evolved as one of the largest case study of leadership in context of on empirical evidence. Now, the work that has been done, basically, has received some international acknowledgement, which I'd like to share with you today. It is it has become a book in practice, wherein our mentor, Mr. Anup Parikh, who I would request to stand up, and I would request all of you to give a big round of applause to him. These are the responses from the leaders of the world. And they have not come from the protocolish channels of ministries of external affairs. They are personalized responses based on the substance, based on the utility, based on the application that they find relevant for their own context. So it does not become a case study of a particular leadership process in a particular demography. It becomes a universal application when Mr. Justin Trudeau says that thank you for sending this publication to the Prime Minister. Your thoughtful gesture and kind words are most appreciated, and you may be reassured that the book's contents have been reviewed with great interest. Next, please. The Lady of Myanmar. She says, in the above context, I am now instructed by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Myanmar to convey that the two Myanmarese dignitaries have expressed their sincere appreciation for your thoughtfulness in so kindly sending them the book and the crux. Please accept, sir, the assurances of my highest consideration. It is about the application they talk about. Next, please. Next, please. His Royal Highness the Grand Duke of Luxembourg. What is the necessity for Grand Duke of Luxembourg to write? Next, please. Mr. Castaneda is the Ambassador of Embassy of Peru in India. Next, please. He is a Portuguese diplomatic advisor. Next, please. Next, please. Mr. Boye is Ambassador, Embassy in India, Republic of Senegal. Next, please. Ambassador of Ecuador in India, as he says, at first glance, I have found the book for the people very interesting and full of information. Next, please. The President of Republic of Maldives, then President, he has said that this book will without doubt become credible testimony of the noble work devoted by the Prime Minister over the years to nation building, transforming a nascent Indian economy in the globalized world and in human development. It certainly is a valuable asset to take lessons on the salience of pragmatism and decisiveness in output-oriented decision-making on the local and global levels in the context of peace, development and prosperity. Next, please. Next, please. And His Excellency Mr. David Johnston, Governor General and Commander-in-Chief of Canada, then. Thank you for your thoughtful letter and for the people. I shall read it with more interest given my great enthusiasm for the promise of India today. This is the motivation that Mr. Anup Parikh has extended to a literary work, which is otherwise just another book. And they say books are carriers of civilization. But carriers need further carriers. And that is how it has traveled. Now, you would be anxious to know that why these kind of responses have been generated. It is not for its literary value, madam. It is for its relevance to the humanity. It is for the words that we have emphasized. It is for the word that you have mentioned, the leadership, the value of leadership, the compassion, the hope, the motivation. Primarily, this has come because of two inventions. The book is embedded with two inventions that are in practice in India. When I narrate that, you would probably tally that. The first equation, the first invention is an equation to measure the strength of economy. Globalization is all about economy. And we have so many indicators doing rounds to really measure the economy. GDP and CAGR and unemployment rate and employment rate and poverty rates and so many. Economists are trying their best to describe the position. But the word that is missing is strength. What is the strength of economy? In pure terms. You can't say that by GDP. You can't say that by CAGR. You have to measure the strength of economy. What is the temp? It's a thermometer. You don't have a thermometer of economy. The strength of economy measures where we are and where we want to go. So it reads like S equal to I upon C. SIC. Where S is strength, I is per capita income, and C is per capita cost of energy. And energy comprises, this is the basic equation. And energy comprises of three things: food, fuel, and electricity. Now, if you can control your costs to stay within the income, then your strength of economy is up. It is very clear. Now, if you happen to see the pattern, the way this leadership is growing in India, he's trying to transform the energy sector. He has to bring the costs down, energy costs down, and he has to take the incomes up. Or he has to do the both. And that is happening. They are exploring all possible ways to see that costs of energy are coming down.
But petrol cost is going higher and higher.
Yes.
Every day, sir. Day by
Yes.
day in India.
Yes, yes. Petrol cost is going up, India is growing, automobile industry is growing. At the same time, to offset that, we kind of, create new opportunities in terms of renewables.
People want employment for that.
Yes. So employment is generated in the process, like the solar options that we have, or the wind option that we have, and petrol is still in the discussion. I mean, the way he has been exploring the purchase possibilities with the OPEC countries, he has revolutionized the whole pattern of purchase in India. It is not that the petrol is going to be redundant. It is just a kind of a composite formula that he's trying to create win-win situations for all. And he's very happy to see the way the countries, the producing countries have responded to his call. So we are buying in a better way.
Gas is a common man needs. Today.
Yes.
Every house needs gas.
Yes.
Prices are going higher every
Yes.
day.
Yes. So we are on a receiving side, ma'am. So what we have to do is to negotiate with our suppliers to see the what best we can to control the prices, control the import cost. So and simultaneously we do the alternative energy scenario. So it is happening. It is happening at food level, at electricity level, at fuel level. And the incomes are going up. So strength of economy, if I have been measuring it as a kind of a student of econometrics, I would say from 1 in 2002, it has gone to 2.5. There is a 2.5-fold increase in about 14 years, 15 years. Second invention that is doing rounds, and you see it in observation and you'd like to tally it, is a matrix of governance. We are in a political economy situation, entire world. It's run by politicians. It's run by economy. And there is no formula, there is no textbook. All kinds of schools of thoughts are trying to drive. It's a rudderless ship. with 10 different captains. And no particular political theory has succeeded. No particular scientific theory has succeeded. No particular technological invention has succeeded to solve the problems of the world. And still, we are talking about the words like hope, leadership, compassion, motivation. It is a paradox, isn't it? It is a paradox. So, this world requires a set practice to govern the critical mass, which is just trying to live. 7 billion people in this globe are trying to live. They are not living. We have to help them in the process. So there has to be an above the board kind of a political governance formula in place, and harmony among the leaders, all the leaders and all the groups and non-aligned movements and G20s and G8 and G all. Why can't it be G all? Why can't it be all inclusive? So there is a formula which does not really talk about religion or caste or political school of thought. All your political theories, communism, capitalism, socialism, are drying out. It's a fact of the life. And there has to be some kind of integral humanism, religion of humanity that I think Nicholas talked about this morning. Religion of humanity has to come in place. So how do we go about it in empirical situations? Like, I mean, it is good to talk about it, it's a very tall order. But how do we really go about it? And how the man has gone in that direction in India? So we have created a graphical interface which is very clear to understand. X and Y axis. There is a matrix of governance. It is on a scale of wealth and wisdom. X axis wealth and Y is wisdom. Now those who are plus, what do they need? What the government has to do? We have to give one word solution for the whole world and the set of leaders to understand. And some of them did. So they wrote back to Mr. Parikh. So wealth and wisdom plus segment requires motivation. People in this August gathering require motivation. Government has to motivate. And our man there in India, last year, I'll just give you one example. While doing his 7th or 6th edition of Vibrant Gujarat, the Investor Summit, he called Alfred Nobel's school of thought, the current set of winners, to interact with industry so that they can find more applications to take forward. It was a great motivational act. A lot of people interacted, built relations, they are continuing their interactions and benefiting from the process. Now that is a motivational exercise. Now I have plethora of examples. For the paucity of time, it is not prudent to kind of discuss all. But the man who thinks of Nobel laureates at an investment summit in a trading state, it calls for a visa. Next, in the segment, plus minus. We talked about plus. Then you have plus minus. Plus on wisdom. They want to do something. A minus on wealth. Aspirants. The young. Now what is the solution? Solution is skill. One word. Because as somebody was telling, Mr. Mishra, in the morning, that education requires an overhaul. The system is becoming more and more symbolic, and unless we address the economic necessities by developing the right kind of skills, we are not going to create a win-win situation. So he's developed skill development mission, and this is not out of the matrix that he has been running, but it's more of a transactional analysis where it is happening, it is observed, and it is consolidating the mathematical value of the matrix. So skill development mission today has come up like anything, and today, to give you a very small example, the kind of Olas and Ubers and Swiggis and Zomatos and e-commerce platforms and the operators and players there that you see, they are all out of that skill development mission. How? They have related the whole system to a microfinance system called Mudra. And within 3 years, 12.5 crores beneficiaries have come out of it. They are making a living. That is the skill that the financial system has developed for itself to move from macro to micro. And that's a major achievement, I can say, neutrally. And so many things are happening in the skill development direction. Third thing, minus, wealth minus, wisdom minus. They don't know what to do. Simple mining laborers, farm laborers. We are an agrarian economy. So one word solution there was affordable energy. That if they have adequate energy, they'll be able to go to the field or a factory or a school. And then they will move to the next segment from minus to plus minus, and from plus minus to plus plus. That is the paradigm shift that is taking place in India. Now, about millions of people have direct bank accounts where the welfare money is going directly. And the fourth, minus plus, wealth without wisdom. We've been reading a lot about them, you know.
Narendra Modi.
Yes. So we have been kind of, it's a regular practice now. Wealth without wisdom. And what is the one word solution? Law. Law has to be enforced. It is there in place. All the laws from the Shastras are there in place. But they have to work.
Why it has not been implemented?
It is being implemented, sir. But,
Vijay Mallya.
yeah, it is being, because, you know, what happens is that it is a composite international system.
We are not satisfied.
I know. I mean, even the leaders and the top decision makers themselves are not satisfied. I totally agree with you. But there is a movement in that direction. There is a movement in that direction. I'm not really trying to kind of, you know, convert that into an achievement. It's an effort. It's a movement in the right direction. So with this, the governing matrix is appearing to be working. And another example, a small example, but very meaningful example, is again that Vishesh Education Center. It's a
What is your reaction for demonetization? What is the reaction for the common public?
See, unorganized economy is being shifted to organized way. Now, it has some pain. I know it has some pain. If we undergo a surgery, we have to bear some pain. But another example that I was talking about was that Vishesh Education Center. He is an Argonaut. He has lived and he has minted fortune in Florida. And he had no need to come back to India as such. He came back, sir. He came back with a zeal that I want to do something for my soil. He set up his own business there, and coming to CSR, he floated a school for intellectually disabled children. And he created this governing matrix there. As a governor of that system, he ensured that he provides enough motivation to the whole system. He made sure that he brings the right kind of skills there. So, madam there, who's sitting with us today, please stand up, madam. She has left a very cozy and cushy job in Germany. She was teaching to intellectually disabled children there in Germany and was making a good life for herself. She and her husband both. They decided to come back to India and join this small little school, which was, just trying to sow the seeds. And today, within 1-2 years, it has such a wonderful ambience. The result is documented for anyone to see. And it is coming up as scientific way of this spatially abled children's progress. So these are the 2 case studies to go with the 2 inventions, which I'm very humbled to submit before you, and I hope that they will be taken forward in the right spirit. It does not come out as a kind of a laboratory, but the whole civilization is more of an evolving laboratory. So I'm thankful to Dr. Umagati and the co-hosts and my fellow speakers and all of you learned delegates to have listened to me carefully. And before I conclude, I'd like to show a small 2 minutes video of that Vishesh Education Center. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Request all of you to put in a big hand. Wonderful talk what we get. Now I request our chairman, Dr. Momenti, to please present.